There was a time in the early 2000s when you could reach into the bottom of a cereal box and occasionally pull out an entertainingly bad, low-budget video game. Nerf Legends feels like it was supposed to be in one of those boxes, but was left out because it's not safe to package something this harmful for your health alongside someone's breakfast. With atrocious gunplay, joyless puzzles, cringy writing,
you have to watch out for his jolts of lightning,
painful bugs, and legitimately broken multiplayer, this half-baked disaster has absolutely nothing of interest to offer, even to those just looking for a nostalgic laugh. It's a sloppy, tragic first-person shooter, and one of the worst games I've played in a long time. Arming you with an array of foam dart-firing Nerf blasters, the 6-hour bare-bones story mode in Nerf Legends sends you on a strange and low-stakes quest to defeat 5 different Nerf masters and secure your place among them. You're just told you need to do it, and then a robot makes corny jokes at you along the way.
I see what you did there, sir.
As if playing through each level wasn't bad enough on its own. Each new area has you running through 3 or 4 repetitive obstacle courses where you fight swarms of cliché robotic enemies and solve brain-dead puzzles before you fight a samey boss and move on to the next gauntlet. Chief among the many gameplay atrocities you'll endure is the god-awful gunplay, which is an unsatisfying, frustrating, and buggy pile of mistakes. For one, shooting its Nerf guns just feels bad. Every weapon is inaccurate, wiggles around as you fire it, and needs to be reloaded painfully slowly every couple of seconds. So actually kinda close to using real Nerf guns. And unlike real Nerf guns, your bullets are hard to see, barely make a noise as they leave your weapon, and have hardly any recognizable impact when they hit what you're firing at, unless you deal a killing blow. Believe it or not, that's a best case scenario, because it means it's working as intended. Just as often, it doesn't. Guns will randomly lock up, not letting you fire bullets or reload until you swap weapons and swap back. And sometimes, you lose the ability to turn around or aim your weapons where you want, thanks to an odd glitch that drags your crosshair to one corner or another like a ghost has its thumb jammed up against your joystick. It's kinda like the Joy-Con drift turned up to 11. But fortunately, you can just kill yourself and respawn to fix it. But that's just one of many ways Nerf Legends made me want to end it all. The enemies you fight are an equally upsetting aspect of this Nerf misadventure. You encounter the same handful of robots over and over again, and exactly none of them are interesting to fight or look at. Occasionally, you'll fight a big robo-scorpion or giant mecha that's easier to kill if you aim for glowing weak spots, but the novelty of those fights wears off after their first appearance, and you'll see a whole lot of them as the levels go by. There are also lots of puzzles, though I'm using the term puzzles extremely loosely here. Most amount to standing in an area and fighting unlimited waves of enemies until a timer counts down, or finding giant red buttons and shooting them to open a door. Almost every area requires you to find 3 to 5 buttons in the immediate area before moving on. They add nothing except to delay your advance through the level, like the developers are getting paid by the hour or something. Did I mention that Nerf Legends has some of the worst sound design I've ever heard? Because good lord are you in for an auditory nightmare. The music consists almost exclusively of repetitive guitar solos, while enemies beep and boop at you, and the speaking characters haunt you with cringe-worthy performances.
Did I ever tell you about the time I nearly fainted after trying to beat Calwan in a strength test? I was so disappointed.
And worst of all, every single time you pick up a healing item, which happens constantly, you hear this. After a while, I legitimately prefer death. Nerf Legends also has a multiplayer mode, or to be more precise, it doesn't have one. That's because the PvP it has literally doesn't work. It is genuinely not functional. Most of the time it tells me that I'm not connected to the internet and locks me out entirely. When it sees the same internet that Halo Infinite does, it either says that no lobbies exist, or asks you to make your own public lobby and wait for others to join, which they never do. I tried to enter a multiplayer match for several hours a day for the better part of a week at different times of day, and wasn't able to play a single match. So far as I can tell from the reports of others online, there's just no way to get multiplayer to work currently. But let's be honest, we probably dodged a foam dart there anyway. Did you think I was done listing bugs in this foam-covered catastrophe? Not by a long shot. I got hard crashes to the Xbox dashboard, lip syncing that's several seconds off.
There you are! What took you so long, lil bugger?
Enemies floating in the air when they aren't supposed to, and much more. When I think back on it, there were very few moments where something wasn't going terribly wrong in Nerf Legends. Like how this dialogue box popped up and never went away for the better part of a level. My feelings exactly, coach. Nerf Legends is a painful first-person shooter that manages to suck all of the childhood fun out of its over-the-top plastic weapons with abysmal gunplay, tedious puzzles, tons of bugs, and a multiplayer mode that literally doesn't work at all. It's disappointing to see a concept with so much potential to be an entertaining, lighthearted FPS squander it so entirely with a broken, harrowing lemon of a game. Even masochists looking for something to heckle should steer clear of this mess. For more shooters, check out our review of the single-player campaign of Call of Duty Vanguard. And for multiplayer that not only works but is awesome, our review of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. For everything else, stick with IGN.